In this lesson, we're going to be talking about how you find slope given 2 points. There's several ways to find slope given 2 points. One way is you can graph those 2 points and use the rise over run formula to calculate the slope. The other way, when a graph is not available, is to use the slope formula. The slope formula is m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. The sub 2 and sub 1s are just identifications. Those 2's and 1's don't have anything to do with how we calculate the slope. And you'll see in a few minutes when I complete an example what I mean. Make sure that when you're calculating slope that you always simplify your answer. So let's jump into some examples. Number 1, we're given 2 points that we want to calculate the slope for. Since we have 2 points, we want to use the slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I do recommend writing this formula for your notes and your homework. That way it helps you memorize it. Before we actually use the formula, we need to identify from our 2 points what is y2 and y1, what is x2 and x1. So remember, when you have a point, the first number in your ordered pair is x and the second number is y. So we're going to label our first ordered pair x and y. It's our first ordered pair, so we're going to put x sub 1, y sub 1. Then in our second ordered pair, again, we're going to label it x and y. And since it's our second ordered pair, it's going to be x sub 2, y sub 2. Then, once everything is labeled and you have your formula, it's simply a matter of substituting in your values into the formula. So we are going to replace y2 with 3 because we labeled y2 as the number 3. Minus y1 is 1 because again, we labeled 1 as y1. Over x2 is 4 minus x1 is 1. Once we have our values substituted in, then we're going to solve. When solving it, you want to complete your numerator and denominator and then simplify if needed. 3 minus 1 is 2. 4 minus 1 is 3. So the slope for the 2 points is m equals 2/3. Let's take a look at number 2. I'm given 2 points, so I'm going to use my slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then I'm going to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. Then I'm going to substitute those 2 points into my formula. M equals negative 2, because that is the number that I've labeled as y2, minus 4 over 10. Now I want you to watch carefully. It's over 10 minus, because I have a subtraction in my formula, and then I'm replacing x1 with negative 2. So it's minus a negative 2. So be careful here. You have to have the subtraction from your formula and you have to have the negative 2 because the value you're replacing is a negative. So I recommend you putting that negative 2 in parentheses. So we know that that's negative 2 minus 4 over 10 plus 2. Because we can put these two, this subtraction and negative sign together to make an addition sign. So now we can solve. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6, and 10 plus 2 is 12. And then you always want to make sure to see if you can simplify, and we can. It simplifies down to negative 1/2. So m equals negative 1/2 is my slope. Go ahead and highlight number 3 and highlight number 4. And let's look at number 5 together. So we're going to do the same thing for number 5. We're given 2 points, so we're going to use our formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we're going to label our points, x1, y1, x2, y2. Then we're going to substitute those values into our formula. So m equals 9 minus 9 over 3 minus 5. Again, I'm substituting in my values based on how they are labeled. And then we solve. 9 minus 9 is 0. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. 0 minus negative 2 equals 0. So our slope is 0. And because our slope is 0, we know this line is a horizontal line. Let's look at number 6. I'm finding the slope given 2 points, so I use my slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to label my points, x1, y1, x2, y2. And then I'm going to plug in my points based off how they're labeled. So m equals 5 minus 8 over negative 7 minus negative 7. So again, remember, I have the minus because the subtraction is in my formula, and then the negative 7, that 7 is negative. So I need both of those signs. But both of those signs together would make it a positive. So it's really negative 7 plus 7 in our denominator. 5 minus 8 is negative 3, and negative 7 plus 7 is 0. And remember, we cannot divide by 0. So our slope is undefined. And we know that this line is a vertical line. Go ahead and highlight numbers 7 through 12.